So I think one of the hardest acts, for me anyway, as a poet, is to give my poems away without explaining them and to kind of trust the reader. And I suppose with this poem, I have this feeling like I should just rush in and explain everything. And I think that would do the poem a disservice. So I'm just going to say it's the closest I've come to kind of capturing what it feels like for me to be a migrant. However, it could be about something else completely. So I'm just giving this poem to you. Wildflowers. My mother sends me to pick wildflowers at night for the centre of our table. My sisters in their beds cry out as I slip into the dark, the morning dithering before me. I ignore the flowers, fix my eyes on a remote spot, move towards it. Let me be invisible. Let me walk under the last bit of moon. Don't let the sun put her eyes on my swollen face. Don't let anyone see how much it hurts to leave. Just give me an hour to collect myself. I measure the fields behind me until I'm far enough away to curl up in a ditch, to rest, to eat the bread from my pockets. The last time I will taste this flavour. Bread is different everywhere else. Even if it's not, I'll imagine it is, forever wanting this loaf that tastes of the field beyond our house, where I stopped to look back at our cottage, a dark blot in the night. If I had seen my brother at the window, my sisters at the door, I'd have dropped to the ground, pulled up the wildflowers with my teeth and crawled back to them, said I was sleepwalking. I dream as I go, milky white thoughts slipping in and out, lines and lines of poetry and old songs that meander off into nothing, borings back to the dead. My grandfather shrunk and dignified, how my mother buckled, her legs slipping out from under her until she was down on her knees, sorrier than I had ever seen her. I was too young to understand, ran outside to tell the others as if it were any other piece of news, their wide eyes orbiting me as mysterious as his lifeless body, how I thought about my mother ending up in that bed, how I too would lie down in it eventually. The first lines came after that, and I used them to hook my mother out of sadness. Wrote words for my father too, but they didn't crack the hardest part of his skull. I gave up. Left them with him, with her. Sometimes you have to give up and take the last archery out of childhood, with its brambles and wildflowers, the spot where I flew over the handlebars, so that when I walk past that hiccup in the road, I see the doctor's hands, how she said it was nothing, though there was blood. Most journeys have companions. Mine are these, and the memory of rain pounding the roof of the attic, a prayer I refused to say, though I used to believe it when I lived through my almost death. It was there, pacing up and down my mind, urging me to hang on, take a step further past churches and schools, all the legends that stoop over my life, history hounding my heels. Every few towns I have to stop and ask for help. At first, it's impossible. I'm shy, taught not to ask for anything. But soon I forget. Shoulders back, I open my mouth and speak. I press my feet into every line of a restless map, grow older in cities that hold my hand loosely. My home wavers behind me, its grey sky indifferent to where I go next. My feet slap the concrete of new continents, fluorescent lighting, logos loom on every surface. Addicts collapse and their wails, raw, ready to take the one road home, the bramble, the scabbed knee. Mud swallows my footsteps, rain buries my markings, headaches cloud round me. I am back at the stove, back in the garden, back reading my brother to sleep. How can I escape? I have. Their names are faint. Sometimes I fall asleep whispering to them. No, they are whispering back, each in their own way. Our blood reaches through invisible lines, like roads, like borings, like poems, tugging us down into ourselves, trembling. Is there a way to lay this down? To stand in the field beyond our house, to face the wildflowers, my mother on her knees.